Okay, so here's this power pole we've been talking about that we're going to use to run all the critter stuff. And so far we have trenched, well, we haven't. let's be honest here. Chris has trenched. I, however, have been watching. Anyhow, and it goes all the way. All the way. This is the trench that's going to run the electrical. And then we're going to first bring it to this shed, which currently we're using as the critter feeding shed, but it's going to be the CritterVision store. And from here, we'll run electrical. Right now, I think this is that plumbing also? Plumbing comes in here somehow, I just don't know where. And then he's going to run it. And y'all, you've heard me talking about how terrible and rickety that ramp is. Look at this thing. I mean, it's just, you can see all the holes over here and here, but you got this one right here that we can come straight up and down that. You come off any bit of the side and the whole thing just starts to collapse. So this is pretty rickety. So let's see. I'll try to find that one spot. Okay. And then anyhow, we'll continue the electrical down here. And oops, over here. Sorry. And then over here. And then you see where it kind of tees in. This line will go back to the well house, and that's where we'll join the plumbing and the electrical together. And when I say electrical, I don't mean the fiber optic, I just mean electrical. Okay, we'll continue on. And when I was in college, one of our professors said, it was a quote from Albert Einstein, and the quote was, if you can't explain something simply, then you don't know it well enough. And that's why I can't explain what in the world we're doing easily enough, because honestly I don't understand it well enough. But hopefully you understand what I'm trying to get at. But anyhow, we're continuing on. Chris just fired up the trencher. Okay, so here we are at the new critter shed, and we will tie in the electrical here, and then from here we'll run the fiber optics, and the plumbing will also terminate here, or because we're going to want to have some water around here, because me being me, I'm going to want to plant some plants right here. And then we'll run the plumbing, the electrical, and now the fiber optics down here. And oh wow, what is that? Oh, okay, it's just dirt. I thought that was a piece of wood. Let's see if I can kind of get over this side. And we'll keep on going. And you'll see that it kind of turns here, sort of starts to get sort of zigzaggy, and that's because we kind of poked around with the stick. We didn't want to damage too many of the tree roots of these trees that are nearby. So it looks like it goes pretty straight, and then all of a sudden it starts to get kind of snaky, and that's just because we're trying to be kind to the tree roots. So okay, continuing on. All right, so the plumbing, the electrical, and the fiber optic will come to this point, and then the electrical and fiber optics will take the right route, and the plumbing will take the left route. And I'll go that way first. So we'll run the plumbing. to all the way to right where you see it is. And that is where, between this tree here and this tree here, is going to be the back end of the critter feeding area. But we are going to end up extending this down that path that you can see in the background, and that will be where the drainage goes. It's the lowest part. It's already kind of got a nice incline, so that'll be perfect for the drainage. We stopped right at this point because we're going to need to rent a different trencher, one that's not only deeper than what we're using currently, but wider. The trencher that we have right now only goes, I guess, what is that, about 3 inches wide, maybe 4, and about 7, 8, 9 inches deep. But we're going to need one that does much wider to run the drainage. But we can do that another day this week or this weekend, later this weekend, so we're not worried about that. But anyhow, so we're kind of standing right here is where the new concrete critter feeding area is, and we'll end up having plumbing come up into the center where the bowl is, so we can plumb the water bowl. Now, if I stand back and not break my leg on something, here's the other line. This is the line for the electrical and the fiber optic. That's where it teed off at that last spot, and this is basically where we'll run the cameras. We ran it a little bit closer to this tree area than we probably needed to. Originally, we had that block of wood from where we were showing you where we potentially thought the camera's going to be, and that was right around here. But we went ahead and extended it past just to be on the safe side. We'd rather have the trench there and not need it. And we can always kick the dirt back in and fill in the trench. But we just don't 100% know exactly how close we're going to put the cameras to the feeding area. Where we had them at the old place, I think from the leading edge of the critter feeding area to the front edge of the cameras was right around, I want to say about 8 feet, give or take, probably about 7 to 8 feet. But I had always told Chris, gosh, I wish we had just gotten a little bit closer, just a hair closer. So that's why we went ahead and extended this just a little bit closer. Just, we can always change our mind. Anyhow, why we run the plumbing line separate is because, of course, like I said, we'll have a spot here that goes into the concrete so we can drain water from the water bowl. But we'll also put a little hydrant somewhere back here, somewhere in this area, where we'll hook the hose up to. And my concern was I didn't want that hydrant or the hose, the shadow, to show up on the CritterVision feeding area, because it just looks stupid. So I didn't want that. So that's why we ran it separately as well, so that it won't be seen from the cameras, but also we didn't really need it to run with the electrical. Now from here, the electrical, we're going to end up putting some supplemental cameras, supplemental IR lights on a lot of these trees, like this one here, probably that one there, that one there. But we won't need to use the trencher for that. Chris says that he'll go ahead and just bury the line, just with a shovel. But I don't know. I feel like he should at least do these two over here. We were a little bit concerned over here because there's all this greenery, and the trencher might start tearing it up. We know that the animals are probably going to start tearing up this greenery, especially if those wild hogs show up. But maybe they won't. Maybe they will say, gosh, we're getting free corn. We like these people. Let's not step on their beautiful green plants. Let's hope. Anyhow, we're going to get another trencher, and we'll continue down this natural path, which is exactly the path where we're hoping the critters will come up. I'll probably tidy this up I might try to replant some of these little plants. I just don't want to rip them out of the ground. Some of them, like this one's growing pretty good. I think he can grow, maybe move them right over in this area here. But anyhow, we'll put a drain that'll go down here, this incline. And again, this is what will tidy up for the critters to come up this. And it'll start to turn to the left of this down tree, and we'll clean up all this. Here's that frog pond that I think the last video I showed you, I was so confident that this thing will never fill up too high. And wow, was I wrong? I was pretty wrong, because look how high it is. So now that we know this, we are going to need to improve upon this. So once he gets that larger trencher, we'll connect it to here, and then we will run a drain down there. And down back there, way back here, is a very low spot that goes, it's almost like a natural trench. I don't know if somebody put that in there, but there is a natural trench back there that seems to go all the way around and back here and connects to a little creek that we have that crosses our property line. So we'll probably at least run it to that trench area right back about there. And that'll kind of keep this from filling up as high as it is, because it's pretty high. In fact, this is that area that Chris cut out. He did have it nice and tiered, but it looks like it's starting to get undermined. And again, I am going to put some permanent scamper ramps in here, just in case some smaller animals or a baby deer, falls in here, or a big deer. I want them to be able to get out. I don't want them to not have a very safe escape route. So also, part of me being me, I've already kind of talked about maybe I could put a fence around it, some kind of warning sign to the deer, maybe not to just run into this area. So I'm not opposed to putting some kind of safety fence around it, just because I'm paranoid that way. So anyhow, yep, we'll also, while I'm thinking about it, this tree here in the background, somebody made a good comment about we should potentially cut out a section of this tree so that critters can pass through. They don't have to jump over. The deer or the hogs or whomever can just walk in. So I think we might do that. I think that's kind of a nifty idea. Let's see if I can get through here and not squash anything. So this would be that path that the critters are going to take, or hopefully, if they behave, and they can come around this tree. And then we thought maybe somewhere right around there, which is about the halfway point, give or take, of this tree, and cut out a 3 or 4 foot section. I think that's a really nifty idea. And because right now, if a critter, well, I mean, I'm sure the critters can get over this tree. It's not that tall. But right now, it goes from this end all the way over to about here-ish. So having one little area cut through, I think, might be nice. But instead of them coming through my lovely lush green area, I might start to carve a path to attach them to this path here. So I'm sure they will abide by that as I request. We also know that that's not going to happen, so maybe I don't want to put a path right there. I don't know. I'm going to have to think that through. I'm sure Chris has already said, oh, all this is going to be gone. They're going to trample all this down. But he's being a negative Nancy, I believe. I have faith that these little critters are going to say, gosh, we've been treated so nicely. Let's reciprocate by leaving this lush greenery. That's my dream. Okay, so, yep, that's what we got so far. You can hear Chris in the background. He's still running the trencher from the house to Well, it's from the house, but it's actually going to go underneath the house. We're going to run the electrical underneath the house so that we can basically cut off a long big corner, and we don't have to run as much conduit or wiring or anything like that. So he's going to do that, and that's what he's doing. Okay, that's what I got right now. Oh, well, let me show you one nice view here. So that's where future CritterVision is going to be. I think it looks pretty. I think it'll be nice.